Over 7 million Zimbabweans are now living outside the country. Because I've decided to film my search, I ask advice from some of those who've had to escape. For me, going there now, I'm trying to work out how careful I need to be, you know, because we'll be going with a camera, and what's the best way to do that without getting on the radar.
It depends where you are trying to film. When I went in 2008, it was very hard.
Because 2008 elections?
Yes, after elections. I went in November, I had my own video camera.
Right.
But, you know, filming in First Street, you couldn't. You couldn't. Or if you see anything happening, you know, riots, you can't.
Can't be there.
You can't be there. Yeah. So I think you need to be very careful.
If you sneaked into rural areas or into Black Township, yes, it's easy to tell.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's that white girl doing in there?
What's happening? It'll be trouble.
I think what I'm even more worried about is putting other people in danger, because what I'm wanting to do with this is find my friend who I grew up with. But in finding her, I don't want to expose her if she is in Zimbabwe.
Oh, we wouldn't take that lightly.
If
she is to remain in Zimbabwe.
But you think that it's a good idea to conceal her face?
I think so. I think it would be a good idea, but I think the story should be told.
Okay. That's right. The media in Zimbabwe is tightly controlled by the Mugabe regime, and we'll have to film undercover. So that is the rig for doing the basics.
The fact that it's a stills camera and there's no tapes.
Well, no one's going to look at this and think it's a video camera.
It's just brilliantly low profile. I mean, there is a thing that they still keep an eye on journalists who are newspaper journalists, so the fact that we've got a stills camera doesn't entirely give us a get-out-of-jail-free card.
There's no way anyone's going to look at that and go, wow, film crew. They're just not.
That's right. So if you're there...
Okay.
Cameraman Jake and I will travel as if we're a couple on holiday, so we take some snapshots to support our story, in case we are questioned. I got this little kick of excitement when we crossed over the coast, seeing Africa for the first time. It's been 14 years since I was back here. It's pretty cool.
Starting to feel a little at home.
Over the last decade, Zimbabweans have been flooding across the border into South Africa, escaping political violence and desperately hoping to find work. Before setting off for Zimbabwe, we overnight with my old school friend, Aubrey.
How's it, buddy?
When did you leave Zim?
4 years now.
4 years?
4 years now.
Aubrey left Zimbabwe after his family's farm was seized by the government.
And Governor Kalkonde's got it now.
They just took it?
2,000 hectares of trees, forest, been growing for like 12 years. Prime wood. Prime wood. Prime, you know? Prime wood.
Mugabe has carefully painted his land seizures as a colonial redress, but it's not just white farmers being evicted.
It is complicated in Zim.
It's complicated.
It is complicated, especially if you start making money. You got my good side, man?
Yeah.
It appears so.
Aubrey's girlfriend Heather and their friends join us. They're all from Zimbabwe.
Friend of mine, Robyn.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you? When did you guys decide to move?
Well, we did. I didn't actually decide to move. I came to university here. Yeah. By the time I finished varsity, there was no point in going home. We couldn't go home. So So I just stayed here. Yeah.
Aubrey and his friends are an example of an educated and talented generation who have left Zimbabwe.
My parents are divorced. My mum is still in Zim, but my dad is in Kenya. He lost his farm. He's a coffee farmer.
But it was good when we were growing up, eh?
It was a good place to be.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
It was so good. It wasn't unusual that in the class you were mixed race.
The thing is, I never even thought about it. Like, it didn't actually occur to me as a kid. Like, we used to go wherever, everyone was kind of mixed and stuff. And so
You didn't think
at
about it.
Mercy School, I came home and I told my mum, I was like, oh,
I've got a
Mum,
crush on a black boy.
I was like, I made a new friend today. And she's just like, what's her name? I was like, Vanilla. So my mum was like, what colour's Vanilla? I was like, I don't know. I'll ask her tomorrow. That was for you. I mean,
I think we took that for granted so much in Zim.
Too much.
But you know, the weird thing is that the news we get about white farmers, all this stuff, they sort of think, oh, it's this really kind of racially segregated country, and and that's not our experience.
it isn't at all.
But what's sad is that it's become like
It's becoming
It's so sad.
it's sad.
It's so sad.
When you're born in Africa, they say the land never leaves your blood. It's exciting to be back. We've been told it's safest to cross into Zimbabwe via the border near Victoria Falls. To get there, we must first cross the length of Botswana. Before we cross into Zimbabwe, we conceal our camera gear as best we can. Bag searches at the border posts are common. We're advised that leaving early will help us avoid trouble. No hire company would let us take a vehicle into Zimbabwe, so I've arranged for a contact with transport to meet us on the other side. At the border, we're immediately surrounded by men hoping to get money or documents from unsuspecting tourists.
How are you doing?
Good.
Your fastest agent, customs, they organize for you, then you drive. So give all your passports to one man, we do the police clearance, and lastly, we go for customs.
How much?
Only 200.
That's alright, we're fine, we'll do it.
How much do you have?
That's okay, we've got
give
lots
all
of time, we're on
passports to this
holiday.
one. And you just give me your appreciation at last.
Okay, we're going and see first, okay? And if it takes long, we'll come back and find you.
It's impossible to film our crossing without drawing unwanted attention to ourselves. Jake keeps the camera covered. Is it okay for Jake to have the camera out now? Is it not a good idea?
I'll just flew into food season.
Yeah. On the Zimbabwe side, we pass trucks that have been queued for over a week, desperate to pick up goods to sell from Botswana and Zambia. Peter is the only contact in Zimbabwe who knows about the documentary, and he's agreed to help us. Because I haven't been here for so long, Peter's local knowledge is invaluable. Zimbabwe, day 1, Sinclair. So we're in here in Vic Falls Lodge with the curtains closed. And
That's my fault.
Yeah, no, but that's what you're here for.
We don't want to sort of raise any flags this early in the thing. And I mean, it's all still sensitive. I mean, this is, they're still looking out for this, and they will do their best to make trouble for you to some extent, you know. So the less they know about it, the better.
Pete and I had originally discussed both wearing hidden microphones on the journey. We should talk about miking. What I was originally thinking is that you and I could be mic'd up pretty much permanently. That doesn't mean it's going to be recording permanently. Where would you be comfortable with it and where wouldn't you?
To be honest, not at all.
Not at all? Okay. Now that we're on the ground, the reality of what we're doing is making Pete nervous.
It's easy for us to forget what it does mean for his family, for him to be helping us.
His mother is still here, you know, so it's not his safety, it's hers.
Absolutely.